I am going to make a dish that has these little resin button pieces in it. I'm going to be using this silicone mold from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so I have separated into a couple little piles here. A grouping of a calculator, red scissors, ruler, purple pencil, pencil sharpener, and a stack of books. And then I have kind of the same assortment over here these are for his two teachers. And then I have another assortment over here for his bus driver. And there's a little school bus in here. Now there is one thing that came in these collections that I'm not using, and that is the glue stick. Can you read that? I just really can't even tell what it says. I don't think this was executed very well. It's not very accessible. I would have used like a white ink on top of the dark color so that there was more of a contrast. So I'm actually not going to use that glue stick button, and I'm using one of the pieces of paper for the bus driver, and I don't really want to put it with either of the teachers because I think that they already have a full assortment of things. So I'm actually not going to use this other piece of paper right now. So we'll save that for a future project. So I'm going to start by I do want to call out. My tray is a little messy. I didn't wipe it off from last time. It's got some random glitter pieces in it. It's probably got some dust. And I think that that's part of the appeal of making these teacher trays, because it seems like there's always like a random assortment of glitter in all of their things. And there's going to be pencil shavings, there's going to be broken crayons, as well as these buttons that I'm going to be putting in. So it's just going to add to the charm of how unique and special this gift is going to be. So I'm going to start by doing a really light and easy pour around the edges. And I'm just going to continue pouring. And then I'm going to look for bubbles. Where's my little pointer? There you are. This is one of my favorite tools. Pointer, prodder, pusher arounder. So I see some bubbles in here that I'm trying to make rise to the surface. I'm going to go around the corners of what's going to be the top of the tray to make sure there's no bubbles that got stuck in the corners. Both sides of that. Now I'm going to add some of these pencil shavings, especially like these ones that you can actually tell what it is. I think that a lot of these in here, maybe you can't really tell what it is. And I know that from using these last time, they kind of don't stay looking like this once you put them in the resin. They change a little bit somehow, and they kind of just end up looking more like sawdust. And so I'm trying to look for pieces that are like a little bit thicker, and that have some pops of color, and not so much of the little teeny tiny itty bitty pieces. Ooh, look at this gem that I found in here. The tip of a colored pencil. That's a good one. Just gonna put that one right in. There we go. Just gonna sprinkle these in. I'm also gonna try something new, which is where I submerge the buttons in resin before I put them in the mold. And I'm gonna do that to try to combat some of the air bubbles that I think are gonna arise or form in pieces. So I guess we'll do this one first. So I'm leaving the shanks on these for now so that I have a good thing to hold on to while I'm manipulating this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is hold on to the shank with these tweezers while I submerge it into here. So I'm thinking that if I can make it one with the resin, then it will accept it as its own and it won't form those mischievous air bubbles. So I've got it with a nice coating of resin on there right now, and I'm gonna put it right into my mold, just like that. So now I'm gonna do this little pencil sharpener. And okay, so the air bubbles, I see it now, are getting picked up. They're from the resin, actually. It's from stirring the resin vigorously, which also was my fault. Just as it would be my fault if the buttons themselves got air bubbles in them. But that's a different kind of my fault. Okay, I think that looks good. I don't see any air bubbles really. It's coated in resin, and now I'm just gonna set it into the mold. And I'm moving the shavings out of the way so that they're not covering up the buttons. I'm gonna put the books in. I'm gonna put the books over here someplace because I have some green over here. Books are green. I have green here, so I'm gonna try to put it over on this side. So I want some of this. See how it just kind of looks sawdusty to me. I do see teeny tiny little air bubbles in there. You want to do the calculator right about here. Then I'll do scissors and then ruler, I think. These air bubbles are very annoying. One thing that bothers me about the ruler buttons is that there's the two holes in the front of it. And like, why? Why didn't they put a shank on it like the rest of them? Isn't it fun to be creative? I look all around and I just find all this inspiration and everything, and I just want to create and craft all day long with everything that I see. I have so many projects started. I'm just so inspired by things, and I get so excited to make something look different or completely new or just a little new. Now with these scissors having the holes in them, that just looks like it's part of the design, because I can I can definitely see a pair of scissors that would have the holes where they are. That makes sense. With the ruler, that don't make no sense. Why they do it like that? You hear me, button designers? I just kidding. You didn't think that anybody was going to use them for resin. You were like, oh, they're going to use them as buttons, like what we fucking made them for. So. Okay, so Now that I've got my big pieces in here, I'm gonna push more of the shavings down into the edges. Because that's one thing that I realized when I started making these trays. The first tray that I made, I didn't push anything down the sides. And afterwards I was like, I'll never make that mistake again. It just looks unfinished to me. So I like to have pieces everywhere, harmoniously. Oh, there's that colored pencil tip that was in the shavings. That's a good one. What else am I putting in here? Oh yeah, crayons. You know, I used to work at a Kroger. And one time these people came in and they were like, where are the crayons? And I was like, crowns? Like a princess crown? They were like, no, the crayons. I was like, you said the same thing. I was like, let me ask where they are. I'm new here, and I wasn't, but I was like, I don't know what you're saying. So, they were saying crayons, and that's not how I talk. I didn't grow up around people talking like that, and I was very surprised to hear somebody calling crayons crayons. Crayon. Now, I didn't remove the shanks on these buttons, and I thought about it because I've been thinking about doing this project for a few days, and I just wasn't quite sure how I was going to get the button in here and then cut the shank off without making a mess and getting resin all over my new tool. So, shanks out. So then I was like, well, then do I need to cover it up? Like, what do I do about that? And I'm just letting it go. This is what it is. I'm using buttons as mix-ins for resin, and we're just gonna have to deal with it. So I've used crayons before in resin, and what I realized is that some of the colors rise to the top, some of them float. And so I would have to come back every few hours and make sure that they were all pushed down real good. You know, you look at it so that it's kind of like on an angle so that you can see like skimming right across the top of it. And then you just use your little poker and you push it right back down in there and you say stay. You stay in there. Now this is clear. I'm using a clear resin. I didn't mix any colors into it, and so this place around the scissors and this, like, there's a lot of like bare areas. So what I could do is like throw in some random bits of glitter, which, as I said, that's just part of being a teacher, right? You get glitter in all your stuff. Imperfections. There's like a big drop of glitter right there, and it is whatever it is. I'm also gonna put a piece of gold leaf in there, just for kicks, just for hecky hey. Okay, I found a couple more things to mix in. One of them is these cute little heart glitter pieces. Another one is these fish pieces because some classrooms have fish in them, and I think they're cute. And these are things that I will put down the side. Oh my gosh, so it looks like they're swimming around. How cute! This weird accordion, like basket filler paper that was from Christmas, and I was like, I can use that. I'm gonna use it. I'm using it for this. How cool is that? But man, oh man, is this a random assortment of things or what? If it's not, I don't know what is. Okay, so I'm gonna push all the paper down. I'm gonna make sure that my crayons are pushed down good, and you know, now that there's all of these things in here, it doesn't even matter that the shanks are still on the buttons, because with everything else going on, they don't stand out in the least. You can't even, I mean, there's so many distractions, you're not focused on them. So again, I'm gonna let it go. Okay, now I'm just gonna fill up the rest of it. And that's that. So now I'm just gonna let this sit. I'll come back to it in probably an hour and try to make sure the bubbles are all popped. What are you doing floating there, fish? Get back under there. That water. Your forever grave. And my crayons are actually staying down really well. So I'm very pleasantly surprised about that. Oh, this is so fun. It's just like so chaotic. Like how I imagine a teacher's desk is, or like the inside of a kid's desk. This is like the junk that they would find like on the day after the last day of school. Even though the kids are supposed to clean their desks out, this is the stuff that's left over. Okay, we are here this morning to do the big reveal. I poured these last night. Yeah, and I've got Sebastian standing here with me. So, ooh. I don't know if you can see this in the video, but it looks a lot cool from that side.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see.
Oh,
that looks cool.
I
that looks
love
really cool.
it. Oh my gosh. That looks so awesome.
And if you're wondering, I did use those crayons for school.
And look, there's the little fish swimming around.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
There's the little fish on the edge.